Welcome to Oktane Minutes Podcast. If you tuned in previously, I was not in a good mood, and I was not feeling good, so I decided to postpone the podcast. So now I am going to cover tonight officially The Men Who Stare at Goats, a star-studded movie. And I'm going to have it on the phone. I don't have a lot of power, so if I run out of battery power, we just spitball it from what I remember. So, here we go. Directed by Grant Heslov. Screenplay by Peter Strahan. Based on a book, Men Who Stare at Goats, by John Ronson. It is a star-studded event, to say the least. The cast was full of just tremendous actors, great talent. So we got George Clooney, Jeff Bridges, Ewan McGregor, Kevin Spacey, Robert Patrick, Stephen Lang, Nick Offerman, and its reception on Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 51, a 5 out of 8, because it was a dark comedy. It was a little offbeat comedy movie. And not only am I going to talk about the movie, I'll talk about some other things too. So yeah, I was going to run off the Oktane Minutes podcast, but apparently it's a private, and I can't run lives from there no more. So it's just a damn thing. So I might just make it my personal. Podcast, my personal site, and turn the other one that I have that's public into the public one. Peace. Pizza, fries, and taco man. Talking to the live. So anyway, so as we're going, the movie basically it starts off with a general who is played by this general who is very enthralled about the whole program. He's staring at a wall, and he's already convinced that he can run through walls and all this transcendental meditation and stuff like that. And it shows it's kind of like a prelude to what the movie's about. It's about these guys that were experimenting with some of the higher sciences of the world, transcendental meditation, astral projection, zip zap, that type shit. Thing I liked about the movie, like I said, it's based on Ewan McGregor, who is a character. His name is Bob Wilton, and Bob Wilton is this down on his luck journalist, and his life is in shambles. His wife left him for his editor, and he's a boring writer. So he decides he's going to make a name for himself, going to be a war correspondent in the Middle East. And with that being said, he goes to check out Kuwait and see what's going on during the Iraq War. And as he is doing his thing and waiting for his chance to go over into Iraq from Kuwait, he runs into a mysterious figure named. Hold on, it's basically George Clooney's character named Lynn Cassidy, who was a combination of several real-life psychics and spies, right? So he was a special operations man. He was an operator, as they say in the military. That means that he was a combat specialist that worked in special, very, if you don't know what an operator is, for those who are not in the military, they work in very specific ways for very specific outcomes in missions. So, they will be in much smaller units. They have they're of the more advanced type of combat unit, meaning that, they know how to infiltrate, they know languages, they know how to, they are a special type of unaliver. They're there to interrogate, to infiltrate, to investigate, and maybe cause destruction, So anyway, So they get to talking, and then he brings up the name Lynn Cassidy. And then George Clooney's character, who I like the way he was set up, he's kind of like, he was kind of like a guy that seemed like, the way they set him up, like, even though the unit never really took off, obviously, but, he kind of looks at it and views what he was doing as a big deal, even though it might have been a quack science that they may have partook in. So, it is decided that after Wilton convinces George Clooney from running and convinces him to, help him out and get to Kuwait, he says, well, okay, I'll help you get across the border. And we can get some things going. So, he sits down and says, well, I tell you what, I'll give you a story of a lifetime. Then he gets to talking about the First Earth Battalion, or the New Earth Battalion, as they say in the movie. So anyway, he gets to talking about Jeff Bridges' character, a guy named Bill Django, Colonel, also based off of Jim Channon, who spent years in the 70s investigating New Age movements, subsequently wrote an operations manual for the First Earth Battalion. So we'll go into the First Earth Battalion, made by Lieutenant Colonel Jim Channon, a U.S. soldier who had served in Vietnam. His idea for the new military of super soldiers to be organized along New Age lines. A book of the same name was published in '82. Minutes, jokes, goats. Side note. Anyway, the belief is Channon believed that the Army could be a principal moral and ethical basis on which politics could harmonize the name of Earth, or of the name of Earth. He declared that the First Earth Battalion's primary allegiance was to the planet. Channon envisioned that the First Earth Battalion would organize itself informally, uniforms without uniformity, structure without status, unity powered by diversity, and the members would be multicultural with each race contribution to rainbow power. He also proposed a guiding principle that the members of the First Earth Battalion seek non-destructive methods of conflict resolution because of the first loyalty is to the planet. So, he adopted the term warrior monk for potential members of the First Earth. And the credo to this was, according to the book Mind Wars by Ronald McCrae, each member of the First Earth Battalion would be sworn to uphold a credo of high commandos and guerrilla gurus. And it goes as such, time permitting. I have the capability and therefore the duty to contribute to the development of myself, my associates, and our planet simultaneously now. I will organize and self-support high commando group that will perform evolutionary breakthrough actions on behalf of the people and planet. One people, one planet. Then I will pass on this concept to others who are capable of generating future self-organizing commando teams. And finally, I will await the time when my group can connect naturally with others at higher and higher levels of awareness and perform the natural guard. So that's what they were on. They were soldiers with hippie powers. They were trying to read minds and do all the Professor X stuff, which is cool, man, if you can pull it off. You know what I'm saying? I give humanity another 3,000 evolutionary years to pull that off. Maybe. Anyway, so in the plot, so, of course he goes to Iraq and everything, and Lynn, which I like the character Lynn. He was very like I said, he acted like he was bigger than he was, and he explains the origin of the unit starting in '72 by Officer Bill Django after falling out of a helicopter in Vietnam. He found his newly recruited men unable and willing to fire on the Viet Cong soldiers before being shot in the chest, popped in the chest. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, man, Mutombo style. There you go, buddy. You just got yourself blocked, though, weirdo. Always one weirdo. Always one weirdo in these chats, man. Always one of y'all. You gonna get slam dunked out of here, buddy boy. We don't play that. Homie, don't play that. So, one of the other characters I thought was good in this was the nefarious and sometimes often portrayed as greasy in real life, Kevin Spacey, who played Larry Hooper, represented the New Earth Army's dark side and wishes to use non-lethal technologies in harmful ways, and is the main focus antagonist. So yeah, he's like the villain, and he basically is there. Like, he was recruited in because he was like a top performing psychic. So we're going back to the plot. I'm going to read it so we can put it together. So they're talking about all the things that Bill Django did. Bill Django traveled around the United States dealing with different movements and hippie compounds, experimenting with all sorts of drugs and having live actual sessions, just trying to expand his mind, right? And he comes back and he builds this new thing, and he's instructing the soldiers to dance, and he's showing them different techniques, because during the time as George Clooney's character is instructing and telling the story, they also get a nice visit by some terrorists. Terrorists run down on them and try to do the thing, and then of course Lynn, after they get kidnapped, they do like a hostage exchange, and he does like one of the New Earth tactics, which was one of the commandos was like a martial arts specialist, and and I'm talking about the qigong type stuff, where the guy was hanging weights from his ball sack, and he was doing that Young Do, that Iron Kim type stuff. I don't know if you guys are old enough. Whoever listens to this, look up Young Do, OMYONGDO, Young Do, and the master thing, Master Iron Kim. So most of this movie, I like. It spins itself. Them on the run through the desert during this random hostage exchange, and of course Robert Patrick's character pops up, and he's kind of like a manager, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times when you're dealing with war, especially war committed from the U.S. and or its greatest ally, you have these things called contractors, that are guys that are not of the national military, but they're probably ex-military that still want action, and they're getting paid way more money to guard and detail different rebuilding efforts. Mainly corporations come in there after they knocked your city, blew your city to shit. These corporations come down and build hotels and McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts and Burger Kings and Waffle Houses all over the place, you know what I'm saying? And you have to have security contractors. So basically, it's just ex-military guys who come back, get paid way more money to guard CEOs, to oversee franchises that are brought into the thing. So anyway, so of course, they, when they get rescued, they realize that Larry Hooper, Kevin Spacey's character, because all the other characters kind of like were, all the other people who were in the movie were basically as a just a memory. They were just basically just part of what was happening in the story. So they're talking about how the unit came together. But Kevin Spacey was the man who stayed around and took over the unit because he sabotaged it to get it shut down. And he took the ideas and the concepts and privatized it and took it into the private security sector, and creating non-lethal weaponry to deal and disperse different bad actors or whatever. So as it goes, excuse me, chicken. And as it goes, you know what I'm saying, Lynn and they found out that Colonel Django is working in the New Earth Army, or the New Earth Corporation Army that Kevin Spacey now runs. And during that time, I guess they were waiting to plot this revenge. So Lynn and Django spike everybody in the military members with DMT, LSD, and everybody is going into a hallucinogenic laughing frenzy and craze. And Django and Lynn at the end of the movie get on the helicopter and skedaddle off. And, it's cool. They said, and then, of course, Ewan McGregor's character, Bob, was like, well, I like to think they got away, but everybody says they were on LSD trying to fly a helicopter. What do you think happened, right? Crash skis. So, anyway. And then the movie is cool, you know what I'm saying? They had Ewan McGregor's character stare at a wall, and he's talking about, like, writing the final epilogue to the part of the story. And he's looking at the wall, just like in the beginning. And I think they're playing that song, What a Feeling. Da, 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 da. That one, some prog rock, hippie 1970s expansion of the mind type rock and roll. And he's staring at the wall. He gets up from his desk and runs full sprint and fucking astro faces through the wall. Goes through the wall like Shadow Cat. Not Shadow Cat. Who was the little broad from the X-Men who run through the wall? Anyway, that one, he did that. He phased through the wall, and it's a little funny dark comedy, man, and I enjoyed it. I like how the characters, like the ones who were fascinated, looked really enthralled and fascinated by it. Like if you look at Major Jen Holtz. He was a more by the book soldier. That was the one. Yeah. He went mad. Major Jim Holtz was the one that they caused the calamity as the reason for the unit to fall apart. What else? I'm going through my notes on Wikipedia, so they're not organized. But what's that general's name? Dean Hopgood. Yeah, by Stephen Lang. Yeah, I liked his character too because he was just like very into the idea of all this mind expanding stuff, and he thought he could try it himself. He was a funny character. He had a nice look. He was an old gray general, and then he was a general that got disgraced. He was sabotaged because he wholeheartedly believed in this unit and was the one that set aside the budget for it. But but thanks for the 251 hearts, y'all. Those who popped in and popped out. Try to do more live stuff, but you know how that be. So shout out to the group chat, the Saba Sun group chat. New album dropping September 22nd. Silver Fox Caesar, featuring cats in the Saba Sun roster. It's basically the sequel to White Tiger Wars, and I got some of them left. Hold on, man. So you really want to get into for those of you in TV world, I got some copies. They'll probably get sold at a show in August that I'm gonna wrestle show in August. Special edition, My Son the Funk. For Righteous Killers album CD. This is another second pressing of that, and I got an OG press of the White Tiger Wars, which is self-explanatory. I got two copies left, and if you want them, holler at me. But they'll be sold at shows. I might reserve some. I don't know, but that's what I got left. I'm gonna be restocking. I might be getting some world leaders. I'm gonna get some world leaders stuff, and I'm gonna be bringing in the copies of which is nuts. Getting in copies of the Silver Fox Caesar for September, so which is the day that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad met Master Farad Muhammad, which is significant on my B-Day, so my born day, but. We're already almost 20 minutes in. I just wanted to touch bases with you because I could do this more often. And I know I want to up the production value, so I'm just doing different things. But I hope you appreciate this. And I will see you next time in the next few days or something when I review another movie. I think Boomerang's coming up by Eddie Murphy. And I've seen it 1,000 times, but I watched it again so it would be fresh in my mind. Merci beaucoup. Thanks for watching. Those who sent the hearts and the likes, everything, and those in the internet world. I hope you like it. Peace. Getting out of here.